Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. This is a link up for the ages, mate. Dean Whyte interview in Las Vegas. How are you, mate?
That's all good, you know. Who was in Las Vegas? Umar, IFL. I think he's the last man out here at the last Devin Haney fight. So it's all good for real. I ain't seen you for a minute, man. You should have showed up to my show, my promotion, but you abandoned me for, was it Frank Warren, was it?
I can't remember what show, but I wouldn't say preoccupied, but let's just say they got the media release out first. So they beat you, Dean, I'm afraid.
It's all love. It's all love. Listen, we had a great show nevertheless anyway, so it's all good. I'm sure in the future maybe we'll catch up with one of you guys down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, look, see, you had your show and you're out here in Vegas and that, and obviously we know you as someone who's a face in boxing, spending time around Dillian, and you've always had your own opinions and whatnot. But seeing you sort of involved in that side of the sport and seeing you do big things, it must sort of, I don't know, the last year's been pretty good for you, really, in that sense, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know, it's been a building process. You know, everything's a process because obviously it's like into the boxing, we've come a long way. Oh, Dillian's brother, you know, like that kind of thing, whatever, doing that. But I wanted to build my own brand anyway because I'm a man, and as men, we're warriors. We're businessmen. We're survivors. We're the breadwinners. Even though women, not to say anything about women, but we champion. So I decided I wanted to do stuff for myself. And the first thing I did was build a management company. And it's not been as easy. It's been okay, obviously, because I am plugged in with, great links. And I always try to network and build relationships, keep good relationships. So traveling around the world makes my job easier because I tend to have good links. So, Bill Haney and Devin, they're my guys. Shout out to them. Good looking Saturday night. I've got them. I'm going to back them all the way. So when I come here, I've been in their gym a few times and Top Rank. Shout out to Frank from the Top Rank gym as well. So, those guys invite man and embrace man coming in. And this is just off my own back, my own work, and just the relationships I built. And then we was at Salas's gym with Craig sparring today. So, over time, and I think even thanks out to you guys, IFL and BoxNation, all the media, because just these interviews, as much as we look at them and say maybe they're interviews just in the UK, it's built myself and the presence around the world. Because when I come to America, I've got the same kind of standing. I get the same amount of interviews with a lot of the channels over here. And that's because I travel and I'm a true campaigner and a lover of the sport. So, and I think people resonate that with, man. So I do a lot of podcasts over here, and then I think the relationship's built. So that in the scope of everything, as I've looked at it and I said, you know what? Instead of waiting for this door particular to open or what's been left ajar to say, oh, I'll wait for an opportunity for someone, I just closed that door and made my own door. And that way I'm in control. I'm the deciding factor. I'm the guy that's in the control of the destiny of my fighters and the direction we go. And I can build them. Build great grassroots boxing, guys who are coming up, sign good boys and put them out and build their career until maybe they go to the bigger platforms, and then that way I'll move them on. But at the same time, I'm going to make sure I put on the best shows, the best production, and have great entertainment and great value for the fighters and the girls and boys coming up equally, and give them, even if they're not my fighters, I just want to see people win. I want to win, but I want to embrace boxing and boxing win. You understand? And on top of it, which is a key factor, I want to bring this diversity to the sport of boxing a bit more for black managers and brown managers and promoters and anyone in the cosmopolitanness of the UK. It doesn't need to necessarily be that, because we're all entwined one way or another, but we need to embrace it as a culture and make it a little bit more, diverse a little bit, because it isn't. There's not a lot of black managers, especially in the UK, having the chance and saying, I want to get into management and being embraced, because it's a small community. And it's like you've got to know someone to break into that door and have that relationship. So I want to open that door up a little bit and give more people from anywhere. It doesn't matter, but I just want diversity for people of color or people from my demographic. Even if it's not the color, if you're still from my neck of the woods, or you're someone who wants to do that and doesn't know, and you've got a good fighter and I can help, I will try my best. If I can't, I'll tell you, this is not what is in, it is within my powers. But I will try everything I can and give everyone an equal crack, because everyone deserves a shot. That's just life with anything. Anything you do, if you can give people the chance and help, because it's not, I didn't always get that help, but I did have an easier road probably than many at the same time, because of, Dilly and my bro coming through, and then that's made the conversations a little bit easier, but it hasn't really given me, it's just opened the doors a little bit. Then I've still had to go out there and plant those seeds and build those relationships with everyone around the world. And luckily, I've been blessed to travel the world and build these networks, build these relationships, and then now they've come into fruition. So the first show we got off the ground the other day was amazing. what they say, I liked it so much I had to do it twice. You know them Joshua guys that used to sing that mad song. Big up them, man. That's funny, them guys. But you say, I liked it so much I had to do it twice. That is amazing. Maybe I didn't get it, but hey, big up you guys anyway. But so look, the next show is rolling on. And then so I was in New York last weekend for the Lopez and Cambosis. Great fight, great show. Crazy upset. And that's what happens in boxing when you take your eye off the prize. You know, sometimes like Andy Ruiz did that. He won the world title, took his eye off the prize, ballooned up, and then he lost in the following fight. And I think this is somewhat what happened to Lopez. You know what I mean? He was overlooking this kid, and he ran out of ideas in there. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. So I went there. Now I'm here. Devin Haney, Sunday, Javante Davis, and I'm networking because I've got people. I've got some girl, Tamara Brown, I look after over here. She's 11-0, 8 knockouts. She's meant to be fighting on the 10th, but we've moved that now to the 18th on the Golden Boy card. And then I'm looking for other positions for her. And I'm also in talks about doing a show in Texas, Dallas in June or July of next year. So, you know, the Black Box Global, we're trying to build and make things happen, man. We ain't here trying to mess around, man. We're just trying to push on, network, get sponsors and building with the right people. I've had some really, really good meetings with friends I've had from before, so I've met them up. I probably actually need to hit into them now while I'm here because some of them are going to come here over the next few days. But it's just always about networking and building, you know what I mean? And that's what we're here to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny because you talk about sort of being embraced into the sport as well, and I think a lot of people from the outside might think that boxing is a bit of a closed book. If you're a manager or promoter, you kind of don't want any more competition, any more managers and promoters knocking about. But like you said, obviously you did have perhaps an easy route in, but it's good to see that you've been embraced. When really in America they can close a book off and say fuck you, we don't want anyone else. So it's good to see that you join.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, it's about the links, innit? So the relationships I've got some good relationships, and the people I've got the relationship with have good relationships in Dallas, Texas with the commission and with fighters and other stuff. So that's where we're going to combine and make sure we can push the brand and kind of, you know, build that synergy. And what we might do is we might even do an all-woman show, to be honest with you, and build women's boxing in America. Because to be honest with you, over here, just my small time being away from, I think I've been away about a week, and just talking to people, women's boxing is not that good in America. I think Eddie Hearn here has basically kind of put women's boxing on the map and giving them, you know, making them make money and bringing back that kind of shine in women's boxing. Because what I found out is Top Rank don't have any women. They got Michaela. Yeah, that's just the only one. And then Showtime had Clarissa Shields, and they haven't got anyone else. So, and then Golden Boy, I'm not sure the position with them. So it's a hard coup for women out, and they're not getting. And there's some really good women boxers who came from the, you know, women's US boxing team. There's a lot of women who are 10-0, 11-0, and stuff like that, and they're not getting the crack of the whip. But let's see if we can do anything about it, and then if we can get a streaming partner or we can get TV, and then that's the angle we'll try and do. The world's changing, you know. Like women's boxing's coming up, so there needs to be a position where it needs to open up. Just like I was saying about diversity, there needs to be some opening for women's boxing and allow women maybe to come in and be paid equally, or maybe not equally, just even a little bit more, just below the men. I don't know, because obviously they're fighting 2-minute rounds and stuff like that, but I feel like it needs to be embraced a little bit more.
Right, Dean, we are here for Devin Haney against Jojo Diaz. Obviously we had the massive upset in New York last week. Just a quick sort of gloss over last week, mate. That was a sick fight, and just the fact that it wasn't just the upset, the fact that the fight was so good and the week was good as well, because you had the back and forth and just drama from start to finish, basically from the Tuesday to the Saturday.
Listen, it was a fun packed week with Lopez Senior. You know, he was.
What do you think about Lopez Senior? Because he's crazy, but obviously he's running on emotion because it is his son.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like he did his son a disservice. You know, credit to them for where they got to, because, you know, they came from the mud. They came from the ground and he built him up. But I felt like he did him a misservice, because in there, I think like he should have been giving his son a bit of a kick up the backside and saying, listen, you're winning. He was too busy dancing and singing on the side of the ring not to say, listen, you could be losing. Let's go out there, stop effing about, and let's get busy. Let your hands go a little bit. But what it looked like to me is that Lopez was fatigued. He looked like he tried to give it his all in the early rounds, and I think that went against him. And then he was just tired, because I don't think, you know, his brain might be seeing something, but his legs looked his footwork didn't look the greatest in there. He was trying to cut the ring, but Lopez, And Cambosa had all the answers for him in there. He was the faster man, he was the sharper man. Mentally, he was switched on. Like he said, he went down, he got up, and he was still there swinging it out, you know what I mean, in that 10th round and whatever in the 11th. So it's a strange one. I feel like, look, sometimes these relationships with dad and son as boxers, they come to an end and they reach their peak. I think he might want to look at that, or maybe want to bring in someone else who, you know, gives them that little, the home truths when things ain't going too well. Because your dad's your dad, and he's always going to be your dad after your career's finished, you know what I mean? So I feel like he needs to look at that and assess and maybe want to bring on someone, because I felt like that hunger went, and we could see the real passion and hunger in Cambosa. Listen, he was not fucking around. He was going for it. He was
hard as nails, isn't he? He's hard as nails.
As shit. Listen, he ate some real dynamite in them chops there, and he was just there. You know what I mean? So credit to him. I think the rightful true winner. I know they was talking about. You know, he was like, oh, I won 10 of the the two. I was like, listen, babe, I don't know what fight you was watching. If your face had anything to do with looking at this, making this decision, listen, man, he absolutely got wasted. You know what I mean? But look, he's a hell of a fighter too. He'll come again. He's only 23. Was he 24, 23? So he's still got a big career. He just needs to knuckle down. They need to get back to basics. He needs to find that hunger. He needs to find that desire. He needs to find that purpose and come back and put it back out there. Because there's great fights at lightweight. There's all these boys. You know, this fight here, Diaz and Devin Haney. You've got Lopez and Comey. You've got the one down the road, Javante Davis, and the other kid. I was with what's the kid on? What's the Rowley? I was with him in the gym the other day, yesterday in Tottenham. Listen, lightweight division is probably one of the best divisions now. It's got a depth and wealth of talent. So those boys, look, there's going to be great fights. So look, he just needs to get back in the gym and let's try and see what he can do, man. See what he can muster.
One thing we do want is obviously the winner of this to fight George Kambosos for. I know, well, Devin said he can't be undisputed if it's disputed. George said he's disputed. Tio thought he was undisputed. Whatever it is, Devin Haney has a WBC lightweight belt. So essentially, we want to see them fight together. We want to see them fight, franchise or not. I don't know the situation. But at the end of the day, the winner of this has to fight George Kambosos. And it's a big fight for Devin Haney and a good fight as well, not a walkover.
This is a hard fight. This is definitely nothing near a cakewalk or a walkover. This is a very very hard fight. This is an elite amateur, and he's coming in and he's an elite professional. So the pedigree's there, and you know it's definitely not a cakewalk. But let's see. But look, Devin's been showing signs of greatness from his last fight with Linares. Obviously he got buzzed, but he managed to get through that. I know it was an age in Linares, but you know that power is the last thing to go, and he still showed that he's capable of going in there and doing good against these top guys. But yet again, look, this is another guy. This has got to go and do it all again in sparring and stuff. He's been doing real shit in them gyms in there and putting a real beat down and beating the brakes off of some of them boys in there.
See, I've heard about this. Apparently, there has been literally sparring partners walking in, doing 2 rounds and having to walk out because he's just been pummeling people pillar to post.
He's getting them out of there. You never see that boy. He's shining. You see them abs out there. He's getting them out of there. But look, that's sparring. Sparring is one thing. It's about going and doing it under the bright lights. And he's got the biggest, the baddest promoter backing him on his corner. So this is his playing field. So he's got it all to do. But look, I have faith that he'll go in there and do stuff. He's my guy, him and Bill, his dad. So, you know, I'm supporting them and hoping them and wishing them all the best.
Right, Dean, just an update on Dillian and Tyson from your side. I know Frank said today that he isn't expecting... Frank Warren said today that he's expecting... Joshua to potentially take step-aside money, which would allow Fury Usyk. There's just, this one is just a little bit of a mess. We thought we was going to get a bit nearer at the WBC convention. We kind of didn't. Just from speaking to Dillian yourself, what sort of latest stuff can you tell us?
We didn't really. I spoke to him yesterday. Funny enough, we didn't speak about it. I don't think we really talk about too much. Like we have moments where you talk about something. I think about 4 weeks ago we had a good chat about the boxing, where he wants to go, what he's planning to do, and then it's one of them ones where it's not really kind of in his full mind, just saying, oh, this. You know, he probably thinks about certain stuff, but he was just like, I was in the gym, I'm training, I'm just taking a dog for, or I'm going here. He just talks about normal stuff, you know what I mean, and just chilling. Because I think I spoke to him quite late last night, actually. But nothing to do with this. He was just saying, sucker, what are you doing out there? That's, you know, he's just like...
Do you think that all of us, just like people in boxing, think that every time you talk to Dillian, it's literally just going to be about the latest news to do with... Because obviously that's what we would talk to Dillian about, but obviously you're his brother, so you would just be chatting normal stuff.
We just talk about normal stuff and just kind of, you know, just joke. Mainly a lot of joking as well, talking about, you know, we call each other John, you know what I mean? So some people get confused with that, you know, that John, and he said, John, this happened, you know that? Because we know that John Rambo, the movie, We've got big fans of that, so we like Rambo, so we called, John, the war's over, come on. Like, it's kind of a mad story. I think we talked about it before anyway. So we just called each other John, so we're double Johns. It's quite weird anyway, but that's it. We just have we just crack jokes, talk about bullshit, and just kind of like, I think it's something we don't end up arguing and fighting about, because sometimes it goes into, like, you think you're tough? And I said, well, I'm okay, pretty tough, like. So he said, well, you come down here and spar and show me how tough you really are. I said, nah, Tyson Fury's waiting for you, Andy Ruiz is waiting for you, so you can go and test on those kind of guys. I'm just a guy that just, wants to act tough. I don't need to fight you, sucker. You're too young. So we get it back.
Like you said, obviously, you're just sort of having a laugh and joke about it. And from that sense, it kind of sounds like it's not something that's sort of hanging over Dillian and he's constantly worrying about it. Because look, it's there, he knows it's there, but it's not like hanging over him, do you know what I mean?
I think this is the problem. What you got to look at is he's been many thousands of days and he understands it. So what's happening when you embrace and you understand the direction everything's going. He knows there's a court case. There's the arbitration. He knows it's going to be sorted out, and in one way or a fashion, all the dots and the T's are going to be crossed, and there's going to be an outcome, and it's going to, it will all be in black and white. So there'll be none of this shenanigans where they're talking about 80-20 split or how much you made at this time. We understand Frank Warren is talking about the Usyk can step aside. That's great for them if they can do it. I don't know. I'm not sure they can. If they can, that's what happens. Unfortunately, then he just needs to, he's going to continue to wait, but he deserves his shot. He's the most decorated heavyweight boxer that's never fought for a world title. It's absurd. This has become a farce, this boxing, thing where all of this shenanigan goes on. But look, sometimes you got to embrace it, man. If you make these things dwell on your mind and get you down, it's just a burden on your back. What you don't need is an albatross. So when you go in there, you got things weighing on your back. He wants to wait. He wants to train and be in the best shape of his life. And when he goes into the ring, when he gets his opportunity, we want to bring that smoke and try and bust up that boy Tyson Fury. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, but I'm going to back my bro. There's no other way this is going to go. I ain't going to say anything different. I have maximum respect for him because for what he's done in the sport, coming back, mental health, drugs, abuse, and just obesity, everything. You can only respect someone like this. If you can't, then you're not a person of humanity. It's not even about boxing, just humanity in itself. You must respect people for what they've done as human beings, because you think it's that easy to come from all that 3 years of all that way to come back and do what he's done. So I give him credit for that. But at the end of the day, I want my Dillian, my bro, to do well. I want him to go out there and get his shot, and I want these guys to put on a great fight. And in the end, his arms being raised victorious with all those belts. And I'm saying, we've done it, boy. We got that sucker out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like the Americans say, oh, hey, listen, we was in the gym. They're saying, get him out of there, man. They were trying to get Craig out of there. He was getting ready to fight. That's funny. This American stuff is hilarious. They're in the gyms. They're all around the ring chanting.
Do you know what? Just quickly about that, and just finally on Dillian and Tyson, it would be nice if finally when Dillian gets a shot we can put, because I can't imagine the amount of interviews on IFL where we've spoken about Dillian in 1,000 days. But you mentioned that in the gym, yeah? And I've seen like American sparring videos, completely different complex to in the UK, and like there's like an entourage watching this, yeah.
They're on the side, they're shouting some whole, because he fought, he just not fought, he sparred a cruiserweight, no, a heavyweight, sorry. This guy was a big old sucker, southpaws, and then he fought a middleweight southpaws. But they was jumping, man, I didn't even know what they were, I didn't even want to get into what they were saying. I don't want to upset no one, you know what I mean? But they was like, yeah, my friend, you get this guy out of here, man, like, beat him, yes, get him. They were just on smoke. And they were talking in their language. It was funny. And I was just saying to him, listen, boy, counter them suckers, man. Let's get this sucker out of there. You get me? So, and then it's funny, actually, because I bought Tyson Fury's, the Mexican cut man he uses. The guy, I can't remember his name. And Andy Ruiz's brother was there. So that was quite a...
Oh, the cut man, Stitch?
Yeah.
Stitch Duran?
No, not Stitch Duran. There was another one he uses. The one with the big handlebar moustache.
Oh, yeah.
He was there. And then Andy Ruiz's brother was there. And then they were like, oh, I know who you are. This me good. I'm here, man, you know what I'm saying? We ain't never scared, you know that, because I don't know what they were thinking, like, you know what I mean? But I said, we outside, man, this is what we do, man. We travel, you get me? And then he was just, I said, we're going to see you shortly, man. We're going to beat your boy. And he was laughing and said, yes, the Fury fight. Okay, yes, it's me, yeah, man. Tell that sucker to take the fight, my guy. It's all a bit of tongue-in-cheek, you know what I mean? But they were cool. And hopefully we're going to get some more rounds on Saturday with either at Caleb Planche gym, or we're going to go back to that gym and get some smoke with that heavyweight again. Hopefully we can hit him on the peach and get him out of there and leave Vegas with the trophy.
I'll have to come down and film it. Dean, pleasure as always. Good to see you this week, and just looking forward to Saturday night and seeing what unfolds.
Brilliant, man. Listen, ain't we all? Listen, tune in. IFL, they're the guys. Wow.